The Husband's Shadow, a folktale from southern India. जादू है नशा है मदहोशियाँ तुझको भुला के अब जाऊँ कहाँ When I saw you, want to hold you, want to hug you, want to kiss you, my love. जादू है नशा है मदहोशियाँ तुझको भुला के अब जाऊँ कहाँ. A merchant had a pretty wife. One day, the merchant's wife stood outside her doorstep, brushing her long, lustrous brown hair, braiding it. When the king happened to pass by, he took one look at her and felt desire for her. He had to bed her. He turned to his trusted aides and asked them who she was. And he was told she was the merchant's young wife. The king returned to his palace and called for a trusted old crow who was an expert go-between. He thrust 100 rupees into her hand and promised her more if she could entice the merchant's wife to sleep with him. The woman went to the merchant's wife, befriended her, and convinced her to sleep with the king. She returned to the palace and told the king, "Go now, king. She is waiting for you right now." The king was ecstatic. He perfumed himself with all fragrant oils, attar, dressed himself up in rich brocade dress, turbaned his hair, kohl-lined his eyes, and he was ready. And quickly made his way to the merchant's house. But he didn't enter through the front door. It was a clandestine meeting. He went through the backyard, jumped over the fence, and he was at the back door when there was a banging in the front door. And the merchant called out to his wife. The wife, who was waiting for the king, opened the door, and she was in a fix. Her lover, the paramour, her king, was at the back door, and her husband had entered the house.
Well,
See, she thought of a way how to warn the king that this wasn't a good time. So she was a resourceful woman. She took some wheat in her winnowing fan, and she put it in her quern and began to grind the quern. And as she was grinding, she began to sing. Round and round you circle me, there's someone waiting to get you. If you come in, you will die, just as I'm already dying for you. The king heard this, understood the situation. He made haste, vanished from the backyard. And the merchant, he grew suspicious. He saw his wife dressed and looking fetching in a lovely chiffon sari. And he looked at her and he shouted at her, "Have you been fornicating with your lover? Was your lover outside? Did you sing to warn him?" And in his anger, he kicked at her. And she said, "Ayo, why would I do that? Why would I cheat on you? You're my husband made of gold. Talk to me after you understood the meaning of my song." "What is the meaning? Tell me, what is the song about?" said the merchant. And she said, "Once in a village, there lived a fisherman. He would go to the village pond every day to catch fish. And one day, he used an earthworm as bait, and he cast his line into the pond. And a fish started to circle the worm. And the worm told the fish, Round and round you circle me. There's someone waiting up to get you. If you eat me, you will die. Just as I'm half dead for fear, you will eat me. Did you understand the meaning of my song? Yes, I did. And the merchant was admiring his wife's intelligence. He praised her the whole day and he was very happy. Meanwhile, in the palace, the king was waiting impatiently for the merchant's wife to send word for him. And the day did come. The merchant left again on his business trip, but he was suspicious. He appointed a nitwit, a simpleton, to guard over his wife and asked him to report if anybody visited his wife in his absence. The king came, and the king and the merchant's wife spent a mutually satisfying night together. In the morning, the nitwit asked the mistress, "Amma, who was it who came and spent the night with you?" "Oh, that! Oh, that was my husband's shadow." "What's a shadow, Amma?" "Come, I'll show you." She took him, led him by hand, took him to a living room, and there was a floor-length mirror. She made him stand in front of it and said, "What you see in the mirror is your shadow." "Oh, that, Amma, I know, said the nitwit. One day, when the king was sleeping with the merchant's wife, the merchant returned. And quickly the king ran out of the back door, jumped over the fence, and vanished. The merchant was suspicious, but this time he didn't kick his wife. He called for the nitwit and asked him, "Tell me, lad, did anyone come and visit the mistress in my absence?" "Yes, master. It was your shadow that came every night and slept with the mistress." "What's a shadow, lad?" "Come, master, I will show you." The lad took the merchant to the living room and made him stand in front of the mirror and said, "What you see in the mirror is your shadow." "Oh, that," laughed the merchant. "You don't have to report it. He can come and sleep with my wife anytime he wants." And ever since then, whenever the merchant went on his business, the king and the merchant's wife made merry, and the nitwit never, ever reported it again.